We are a byproduct of habits. I wake up in the morning and I know that I will only function if I work out. Do I question myself whether or not I will work out? No. Will you question to go to the toilet and pee? No, you go. So I wake up every single day of my life. You can ask my kids and friends and whoever lives around me. I will do that like a monk. You know why? Because this is my mantra as a founder. I cannot ever admit that I'm not at optimal level, because otherwise I will be infective to the people around me. And enthusiasm is the biggest catalyst, is the biggest engine of every single organization. I am a founder and I know that I am responsible to bring the best of myself inside my organization and my family, which is my ultimate organization.
Today, we're talking with Stefano Passarello, a founder, but even before that, is an accountant, a biohacker, and an ultramarathon runner. We're talking about a lot about our shared passion for optimizing health and longevity, and he tells us all about the story of how he embraced pain and how he went from failure to running every day and building a company that now spans all over the world and more than that. So I really hope you enjoy and let me know what you think in the comments. Hi everyone, welcome back to the Founders Bible. Today we are with Stefano. How's it going today?
Absolutely fantastic. There is no other answer that I could give you.
You just came back to Asia, right? From Europe. How was the trip?
Yeah. Unrelated from this, but it's good. Uh, let's say the excitement has left the pace to the tiredness of the founder's journey. This time with kids, so doubling up on tiredness. But how can I not be fantastic?
Wonderful. So let me start right away with the first question. This is an usual icebreaker, let's say, for the Founder Bible. I'm curious to learn a little bit about your story as a founder, and especially why did you become, or do you consider yourself that you became a founder?
Well, Ale, thank you for the question. Rarely founders are asked this. It's pretty interesting. You usually just head down and work, you know very well. You don't question yourself why I became a founder. Now is like the whole hero journey about the founders. Uh, let's say that I'm one of those very lucky founders that started being like a startupper back in 2003, 2004, where the definition of startup was not really right there. Now there is this very like myth on the founder, the startup, the fundraise and stuff like that. My story, as every founder story, is a little bit different. Let's say that mine is probably even more different from the other because I never decided to be a founder. I wanted to be first a doctor, then a banker. A doctor because my parents were doctors, bankers because there was money and it was cool and I liked Wall Street. So I went to Bocconi University, unconvinced to be a businessman. I went and worked at KPMG. 3 months and a half, I decided that that was not my path. Like, really not my path. I was really depressed. I was waking up in the morning, going to count shoes. I was not smart enough to be chosen from an investment bank like my other Boconian friends. So I was relegated to uh, Division B, which was like the big four, the KPMG and stuff. Goldman didn't actually give me the chance. So I was there frustrated because my career path was already signed off by the fact that I was not in the banks. So I was counting shoes in a place called Figline Valdarno, north of Florence, February. I cried. I cried in the toilet. I thought that I really did a stupid move to follow the greed of the money. I should have been a doctor. At least I would have had a purpose. I would have at least fixed people. And I was really one step from doing all over again. But for pride, not to see my parents that I was a failure, as I knew I was. That was the first most painful moment of my life. I called Bocconi University and I asked them to give me an internship as far as possible. They sent me to Hong Kong. So I said, "Wow, we are going to Japan, Mom." I was taken from a boutique firm to do something. I lied twice. Hong Kong is not Japan, and the firm that took me was a lousy one. But at least I was away from judgment. So I took off, went there, 3 months paid internship. Of course, my mom knows that I was paid. I lied all the way. 3 months after, uh, I had the chance to stay, but the pay was too small and I couldn't afford. So I started my own company from learning in those 3 months, literally 3 months. I'm now in touch with my ex-boss, which is kind of funny. I met him in Milan recently. After 3 months, I took my first client, which was his client. So technically, I stole one client, and I started from there. I asked for an advance payment, and I had my first client. And from there, PMP started, Passarello and Partners. I was 23 years old. I had no chance, and I started because I had no alternatives. So there was no business plan, there was no thinking, there was no like laying down things, pitching investors. Simply, I wanted to stay in Hong Kong, and I started from client number one. That's it.
Amazing. Amazing, amazing. I want to go so fast into the biohacking part because we do share a lot in common. We also spent some time together in Thailand recently, ice bathing and doing a lot of very cool activities. But before getting there, and the reason why I want to stop just a second is because I'm curious to hear your story into how did you get into the biohacking part of embracing pain, right? So your beginning of the story seems to me that you were into a lot of pain, a lot of shame, or just a lot of negative emotions, let's say, and you use that energy to move away and build something new. What do you remember in your phase between, let's say, being young and try to escape the pain, and when did you actually started to learn that you needed to embrace it because that was going to bring you something new, something better for yourself?
How to say? It's not just biohacking. I mean, Ale, you know my story. It's not just about the pain. I'm a professional runner. I'm a world record breaking in the Ironman Hawaii, and it all started because of pain. But this time, the pain was shame of my body. I was an obese, age 17. I touched 100 kilos. There was not even in the equation to have a girlfriend because I was reluctant, I was repulsive, I was ugly, I was fat. That was my traumatic disorder. Still I have. So I started running. I started running to shed weight. I started running to lose weight. And you run one day, then you know how it works. In the biohacking world, is like wiring. So you do the second day, then you do the third day, and then the fourth day, and then when you come to the 28th day, then it becomes a need. I started running when I was 17 years old. I don't remember a single day of my entire life that I didn't move my body. There's no chance. There is no chance I don't work out every day. Even if I'm on the plane, I will squat in a toilet. There is no way. And you know why? Because I'm scared still. I'm scared to lose what I have fought for. Am I happy? Some days. Generally, yes, but I'm still scared. And I can tell you one thing. It's the fact that I'm scared that keeps me on my toes, both in business than in my physical activity. I have the DNA and the genes of a 24-year-old, and I'm 43. because I'm scared. Still am.
Well, thanks for sharing. The This is the essence of what I want to bring on the conversation, because the reality is that we are all facing like a black elephant in the room, right? All of the founders start probably because they're running from to somewhere, but also from something, and some from somewhere. They want to prove something to the others, to the world. But sharing these things and actually building, as you're doing, ecosystems and networks, support groups of people that guide you through the steps of the life development, it's rare. It's not always that we are allowed to say this stuff out loud, right? It's not always a place where you can feel in a trustworthiness environment where you can
I
share the
look.
things.
This is the very first interview that I've received, and I've received many. Where I'm not gonna talk about my business. I'm not gonna talk. The shirt I'm wearing is just because I have limited amount of clothes. I'm not talking of what I've built. Let's not say what I have. All right? People are not interested. They can read about me elsewhere. I can tell you how to get there. Sometimes you need to embrace the pain and you need to embrace your dysfunctions. I have a bright side in my dark side. I fully embrace now. Remember, the bright side of the dark side. I learned to dance with my demons. You can either embrace your demons and they become your superpowers, or you die. The
Tell me
founder
a little
does.
bit, tell me how you learned. I think that most of the people are listening to these stories of
I
resilience and they will say, well, he did it, but how?
there is no resilience. We are a byproduct of habits. I wake up in the morning and I know that I will only function if I work out. Do I question myself whether or not I will work out? No. Will you question to go to the toilet and pee? No, you go. So I wake up every single day of my life. You can ask my kids and friends and whoever lives around me. I will do that like a monk. The dark side is if I cannot do it, I will be a suboptimal level. But there is no chance, there is no risk because I learn to hack myself in any situation. So I know very well how to do it. All right. So there is no chance I will miss it. And there is no chance I will live my life at suboptimal level. When you asked me at the start, how are you? How you feel? And I replied with a little bit of a crazy face, I'm fine. You know why? Because this is my mantra as a founder. I cannot ever admit that I'm not at optimal level because otherwise I will be infective to the people around me. And enthusiasm is the biggest catalyst, is the biggest engine of every single organization. I am a founder and I know that I am responsible to bring the best of myself inside my organization and my family, which is my ultimate organization. So I am fine. And if I say I'm fine, I will become fine because it works this way. If I smile, I'm happier, right?
Definitely.
That's so the first thing, it's not the second, there is no skills, it's habit. Skills and being naturally good at something sometimes comes at the detriment of success. And I'll tell you why. My daughter is incredibly talented. We saw it from the very first beginning. My son is not. He's chubby, he's slower, but I dedicated more time to my son to nurture him, to let him do the drills, to force him into something. He's now number one of his class. He won his first running race, and I don't do anything anymore. You know why? Because he tasted victory. And once you taste your first buck in your bank account, when you first taste that there is product fit, once you taste that you get a first client, once you taste you get your first tribe of people following you, you taste victory. And the spark of dopamine that you get, oh man, it tastes so good. When you cross a finish line and you win, you will win again. Tell you anything. Because the pain of not winning is deeper than the pain of training. Now, listen to this and frame it. The pain of not winning again is deeper than the pain of losing or of training, right? So you know that you need to train and it's painful. You know that you need to work and it's painful. But what if that brings the largest amount of happiness you can encounter? So you see that this very strong like pain reward equation that surrounds our lives. So think that the pain, it's your dysfunction. The deeper the pain, the highest the amount of dopamine release that you can generate from it. Definitely it puts your body in a large amount of stress, but it's temporary stress, right? So then the biohacking, the yoga, the meditation, the breath work, why I entered this world is to compensate this very pain victory balance, because you're either very high here or you're very down here. You're very sympathetic or you're parasympathetic, and you need to stabilize it. And how you stabilize it? Breathing. Breathing in a general sense of things. It can be working out, it can be meditating. It's simply focusing on the now. Focusing not on the previous, on the past, not on the future. Future gives you excitement and scares you. Past gives you regrets and it's painful. Being in the present makes you invulnerable. And you need those moments of invulnerability because your brain regenerates, right? So you need to be in a place where there is no past, there is no future. This is the essence of like possibly a biohacking. Yoga, it's exactly this. The ice is exactly this. You know why? You have no time to think of the past or the future because you have in ice. What is more painful than being in ice? We were together 2 weeks ago. It's humbling how crazily painful is in that moment of extreme pain. Are you thinking of the money that you're losing for a certain client not signing a deal, or somebody is not paying you, or the next idea, exciting or painful that it is? No, because you're struggling with life and you're present. How beautiful is that? Beauty into that kind of center that you find in the pain. It's really hard to understand, and it's sometimes stressful because you know where to get, how to get there, but to get there it takes a large amount of energy. And to remove the friction, you need to make it a habit. Because if you think, will I do it or not? Most likely you won't. But if you have no choice, you will do.
Okay, let me make a quick break from the show to explain you why this project came alive. 6 months ago, I started interviewing founders to understand what were the secret sauces for their success. But even more importantly, I was curious to understand how much pain they had to go through in order to achieve their dreams. I've been an entrepreneur myself for the past 10 years, and I know exactly how painful this journey is, but very few people are actually willing to talk about it. And that's exactly what we're doing at the Founders Bible for Resilience. We're finally breaking the toxic hustle culture behind startup life. I'm on a mission to build a new generation of founders. Founders that can leverage ancient wisdom and science for true long term peak performance and longevity. If you want to be part of this movement, then check out wholegrainwisdom.com and join us now. Okay, now back to the show. What do you say to anyone or any founder that you may have encountered throughout your life that said, I don't need this. I'm I'm stable by myself. I can do this work. I don't feel depressed or I don't feel whatever pain that I need to kind of rebalance with some kind of external actions. What's your point of view on this? I have mine. I shared it in many cases also through my newsletter, but I'm curious to see because you also work with a lot of different founders, and I'm very interested to know your story.
The most amazing one, they're all screwed up. But I'm sure um, there might be exceptions. But I can tell you, the most flamboyant, the most successful, they all have deep inside a very distinctive trait of dysfunction. That it might be possible that somebody is completely balanced, uh, but I'm telling you, on average, those founders that have the craziest journey are also those that they have uh, a tight amount of, not a tight amount, a good amount of dysfunction. It can be like ego. It could be like nerdy perversions. It can be anything. But to my knowledge, those that I met, and it's probably because of my personality, because I tend to surround myself with people that are quite like-minded. I'm an accountant. I'm an entrepreneur, but I'm an accountant, and I founded accounting firms, and I still run an accounting firm, which helps companies, which I support these companies to build business plans. And I can see within a business plan, like is an X-ray, the personalities of founders, those that are scared, those that are ultra conservative, those that are crazy ambitious. I can see in all of them a very staple of craziness. Craziness for me is not craziness, is hard to judge, but I'm seeing like something that is diverging from the median of a person that is like having a very normal, like normal in the sense of stable job, stable routine, uh, halfway stable family, going to the gym 3 times a week, not just being compulsive and having 17 workouts per week. You know what I mean? Like moderate, something that falls in the average. And those that they say they can do without experiencing a roller coaster ride, they are lucky, but they are few. And I wish them all the best. I think that the peak points of creativity are touched in bounce backs. So it's like the energy of the bounce back that really brings that very next big idea. Like failing, for example, I very much embrace failure in my organization. Now, even more, because I've experimented once or twice, I really had my exits. So I know that works. Before I was like trying. Now I know I have. It's called. This is called heuristic. I know it works. I repeat it. So sometimes the guys come to me and I'm like, "Stay, I missed that. I'm sorry." I said, "Why?" I the only thing that pisses me off at work is when people don't try to do things. If they try and they make mistakes 1, 2, 3 times, I'm very happy about that because they learn by themselves, and it's painful. Remember, like pain is like is an antibody. You know what I mean? It's like anticorps. Like you learn. It's magic, and we can always afford to learn to fail unless you fail too big, and then it's kind of, so it all goes back to pain, and longevity. I like to apply the equation of longevity to humans and to organizations, right? Like the concept of scarcity, how we operate better in scarcity. When we fast, our body operates better. When a company is underfed in terms of financial resources, it's also more efficient. That's why I don't like the fundraise word. I never fundraise my life. Never, never a single dime. Because I think that being overfed in terms of funding creates real dysfunctions. So it's all about pain. It's all about pain.
Amazing. Yeah. And when you were saying before the fact that you get a bounce back, if you go back into the ancient wisdom, the spiritual world, they will tell you it's not really like a loop as we are often used to think, it's a spiral. So yes, it's true that you're circling, but every time that you finish a circle, then you're actually a level up, a level up, a level up. And when you don't notice the change, it's just simply that you're working on deeper levels that you don't notice. But then when you're ready, you will really see the bounce, right?
Absolutely. Isn't it amazing, Ale, all this? Like, I never thought about, I mean, I'm an entrepreneur by mistake. Like, my mom still doesn't know what I do as a job. I had more than 1,000 employees all my life. But, sometimes it's like this. But sometimes when you have less choices, isn't it better? Like,
Well, otherwise you get into like over like too many options, kind of fatigue and you
absolutely,
know.
absolutely. Look, I only have few clothes I cannot get wrong, and when I started the company, I could barely speak English. I mean, I was speaking a decent amount of English. My English got better since I was with my wife. That is another very important like weapon in my arsenal, but that's another story. Uh, but dominating a niche is probably one of the most important thing as a founder that I I take it as an heuristic. But now I say dominate a niche as an advice to other founders. In my original case, it was the only option I had. The Italian entrepreneurs in Hong Kong in 2003. There were not many, but there was no accountant for Italians. So if there were probably 200 versus 10,000 British, but do you think a British guy would come to this little Italian accountant? No. But the Italian, yes. There was no one else. I was the only one. So I had my first 200 clients because then if you are in a niche, it becomes self-referential. So you work with Stefano, yes. You work with Stefano, yes. After 3 times they say they work with Stefano, the fourth will work with Stefano, right? And then I went to the closest thing to the Italians, the
The
Spanish.
Spanish.
Because the Spanish look up at the Italians while the British look down at the Italians. And I progressed to the Spanish and then all the way up, but niche by niche by niche by niche.
Yes. So let's address very specifically the crazy founders right now with this founder Bible. This is the niche for sure for now. Look, Stefano, let me end up the conversation by asking you something that I normally use as a kind of like a farewell question, which is regarding the topic of the super system, which is fundamental for any founder, for any professional in general that wants to grow as a person and as a leader. So, for you right now, how did you build up your support system? How does it look like? How were you able to structure it over time? Were there ever any challenges to build this specific super system? Is it your ideal super system already? Do you have some kind of a secret wish that you would like to add to your super system, and especially how do you use it?
Yeah. First of all, is culture creation. Uh, Whatever business you start, I write it on the wall. People know what they are fighting for, especially now with millennials, next generation employees, remote working. They need to know exactly what is your crusade. There is not just money. People can settle for less if they have something they believe in, some core values they respect. I am democratizing accounting and I'm giving a new identity to accountants. Accountants will be cool. They want to be cool. I find accounts on all over the world that they want to join my crusade, and it becomes their crusade. Number one, this is the secret to scale. Number two, you need to find for every office or jurisdiction one person that you trust more than your mother, brother, and father combined together. Somebody
That's a
that
hard
you,
one.
I know, but it's possible. Somebody that you blindly trust. It should not be the smarter, but it should be the most trustworthy. Possibly, this person should complement you. Like, I am creative, I'm not detail oriented, I understand the macro system and I can solve things, but I'm not precise. I always find the most trustworthy, precise person. Usually, this is something that goes together. All right. Number three, the first thing you do in the morning is working out, because you cannot climb a mountain with a stone in your boot. If you are not at optimal level, you are at suboptimal level. That means that you're not putting 100% of your brain and your body in the activity that you are doing on a daily basis. And being a founder is a responsibility. You should not take it light. Many people take the word founder light. I see a lot of like kids that they want to have the hero founder journey. They raise money, they hire people, they finish the money, they fire people. It's not as easy. I don't fire people. I don't want to fire people. I have responsibilities of people. I have people that have families. Founder is something that you really need to commit to. It's a religion. Being an entrepreneur, it's a religion. It's the only way to improve society, Ale. Trust me. Starting with the family. Trust me. It's full of renegades out there being the founders, being celebrating the fundraise. What the hell you celebrate the fundraise? You are giving up equity for sake. What are you celebrating? That you're giving up equity? Because your business sucks? In some cases, of course, you need to scale and you need the money. But celebrate when you make money, not when you fundraise. That should be the celebration. I've seen so many companies going bust after a lot of fundraise rounds, with a lot of people putting money in, being left with nothing, including myself. So the super system is number one, your crusade. Everybody should be clear, all stakeholders should be clear what I am standing for. Number two, find a person that is the most trustworthy and complements you. Number three, move your butt every single moment of your life. And then go out there and kill them all. Or be in peace with everyone. With the
Wonderful. Thank
most
you so much.
young version of my personality that I'm now a 43 years old founder.
The brighter side of the dark light.
The dark side, the bright side of the dark side, yeah.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Stefano.
I appreciated your time, Ale. Always a pleasure.